New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls.
It's more than practical.
Here come the girls.
Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, and welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am here today with my co-host, Savannah Noel. Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Robyn. Good to be here.
We're laughing already. And everyone, we're sending prayers out to Dr. Natacha, who is in the midst of what they call in Australia a cyclone, which I think is equivalent to a tornado, and was unsure whether she would have power. And she had to batten down hatches and do all that kind of stuff. And we didn't want to take a chance. So we're just sending her lots of love and prayers and knowing that everything passes by and everyone's safe and all that good stuff. And Savannah was kind enough to say she would jump in, and here she is. So we are so excited today. As I didn't tell Savannah that I was having a surprise guest that will be coming forth soon. And that is our friend, Reverend Jerry Carter. Actually, why wait? Come on out, Jerry. Come on down.
Hi.
And Jerry, what can we say about Jerry? Let's give her a proper introduction. Jerry is an amazing being and a minister and an entrepreneur and a friend and a cat mom. And she's an amazing person. What would you add to that, Savannah?
Well, I just think it's so great and so cool that both of my best friends are here. It's like we've never gotten to do this. So Jerry is one of the hardest working businesswomen I know, and always steeped in looking at the bright side of life, and always steeped in, principle, prayer. Yeah. And even though we don't get to see each other as much as we'd like, our hearts are still connected. So this was a great surprise, Robyn. I don't like surprises very much.
I know you don't like surprises. And I almost told you yesterday because I knew you were in a mood. And then I was like, no, I'm going to hold off a little longer. So anyway, and I didn't tell Jerry either. So I put you on even ground. Anyway.
You really pulled a great surprise. You pulled it off, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you.
You both have said some really kind and sweet things about me. And yes, you are both my very near and dear hearts. And whether we're seeing each other on a regular basis or not, when we get together, even like this, in this media platform, we are just so one. So connected. So girls behaving metaphysically. I love that. That's us, right?
That's us. That's us. And I'll tell you, my producer would like us to drink on the show because that's kind of the premise that came up under that. Even that was metaphysical. So I promised him I would today. So I just have to tell you that I brought a flask.
What's it say?
Because I'm not at home. It says girlfriends, therapists you can drink with. Right?
Right.
So I brought a flask, and then I couldn't find my cup, so I put ice in here, but I found my cup. So I'm going to actually mix my beverage right here.
You're gonna drink for us.
I'm going to drink for you. I know. I was telling my husband the other day that I was like, I'm so sad that I didn't start really drinking. I mean, like enjoying it until later because now everyone's quit. Everyone's like, I'm not drinking. I'm cleansing. I'm this. I'm that. Oh, I'm not drinking anymore. It's like, I, that's why I love you, Jerry. You stick to your goals. You're committed. All right. So, what we usually do on the show to start is we pull a card from the deck because, as metaphysical people, we're always looking for the signs. What's the signs? What's being told? So, I brought 3 decks to choose from, and you guys can choose, and then we'll pull a card to see what it's telling us today. I brought a Sacred Traveler card, Powerful Women cards, and the Power deck. You guys have a choice?
I always choose the power deck, but Jerry, I'll let you choose.
I was going to choose the Traveler because I'm getting ready for a big trip. And so I thought maybe that would be fun.
Sweet.
Okay. Is this the Europe trip?
This is Sicily
Yeah.
in May. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to shuffle.
It's a wine tasting tour. So
I know. I know.
And we all know
I
how
was
metaphysical wine is because it's grown with such rich soil and the grapes are so natural and it's just such an expression of spirit in action. The seed, the soil, the plant, the
Yep.
sip.
The taste, the savor, the being one with it.
Yes.
All right. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Jerry.
Stop.
Sure.
Okay. I pulled Navigating by the Stars. Follow your bliss.
Mm.
Follow your bliss.
Mm.
Like it.
Does that mean anything to you right off the bat, either of you?
Well, I was reading something yesterday. I forget. I think it might have been Mother Teresa who said it. I can't remember. But it had to do with regardless of what's happening in the world of effect, we must always be pulled by our purpose. And she didn't say pulled, but I did. So similar to following your bliss, that purpose and mission and passion are essential in the walk of life. And I read that just yesterday. So yeah, the other part of it had something to do with that in and of itself will be the thing that keeps us rooted and grounded when things get hard. Is to remember our mission. Yeah, go ahead, Robyn.
Yeah. I think that's what came. Now, following your bliss, navigating your bliss, and it just, to me, the first thing it says to me is to really focus on what gives me joy and not forget that, because so much of the time, as my Pisces sister knows, I do things because other people need things done, and because I can help them and I can support them, and it's not that big a deal. I can just do it, but it's not that it brings me like that bliss. So I think really being intentional comes up for me about that. Okay, it says card meaning. Trust your gut. Have faith that a higher power is directing your life. Believe. Allow your life decisions to be dictated by what opens up your heart and by what brings you joy. Relax. Be patient. Follow your bliss. Your life is divinely guided. All is going according to a wonderful plan for your life. Be confident that all is well. This is the Sacred Traveler wants you to know sometimes you can't see the road ahead, but when you become still, you can feel the right way to go. It's like navigating by the stars. You might not be able to see every detail of how the path for your life, but when you trust the light of the stars, your silent spirit guardians, and the joy of your guiding North Star to navigate in the darkness, in the meaning, in the meaning, wait, in the morning light, you find yourself at the right place at the right time.
Mm, I like it. I like it because intuitively, intuition came up for me big when you first read the card, and following your bliss. And we always know, but we don't always tap into our intuition and follow it, I believe. And so it just reminded me to be very mindful of how I'm feeling at any given moment. And if intuitively, I operate intuitively, most of the time. Most of my decision making is a gut feeling.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you know that, Robyn, too, being and Savannah as well. I mean, we all get these feelings and these notions and these thoughts that guide us, and so being open to that, following that North Star, definitely.
And I think it's a great card for today on our topic, going into life in the fast lane, since all of us went, I'm not sure what that means, but, or what we're going to talk about. But I mean, how do we keep that bliss alive and make sure we're focused on that? And,
Yeah.
I don't know, that's our focus.
Well, once you get that fast lane, it's easy to lose sight of that focus. So it's being able to, know it, when you need to slow down.
And I would definitely say that I think this card also speaks to me in this moment because, as you all know, the joys of being at a church, no matter how good it is, there's always a pocket where you can hit some drama and some tension, and we have hit it here. We have hit it here today in New Mexico. So it's a lot of questions and just a lot of stuff going on. Where, I mean, in my head, I was like, okay, what's the next move? What do I do next? Where am I going? Where am I supposed to be? And where are we supposed to be? And all of those kind of questions. So trusting that I'm in the right place at the right time takes on a whole new meaning.
So what, can I ask a question?
Maybe.
What do you do when you're in that frenzy? Like right in this moment or prior?
I breathe.
Yeah.
Honestly, going to the breath is so important for me. And it's different than like meditating but it's really just taking that breath and noticing. And I try to just notice where I'm reacting from, like what's happening in my body. Am I reacting from fear? Am I, where is it coming from? What part of my body is talking to me? And I think, in this situation, it's not really my situation, but I'm married to it, and which is a whole different part of stress, because it's a different wanting, I think we all do this with our family members or friends or partners. Like I can't do anything about any of it, other than to stay in my practice and be anchored enough for me. And there's a part of me that's like, I want to help. I want to fix it. I want to, make something happen. So it's a continual for me breathing and just re-anchoring back to, where all I can do is be me in this moment and anchor and breathe and know the truth of the situation, which is basically what the card said, that somehow this is all working together for my good.
Yeah, I was going to just tag on to that. The thing that I love about this card, I mean, it speaks to me directly just because of what I'm attempting to continue in my own business and just the entrepreneurship, of ministry. But the card said something about how you can't always see the path before you, right? And you keep going. And to Jerry's question as well, one of the things that I did recently that I don't know why I never thought about it was I just recorded myself doing a meditation to calm my nervous system, because I think that so many of us need it right now. And I just put it out publicly just for free for people to just go at 6 minutes. People can just sit and breathe, like you said. And I talk about the breath, and I talk about why breath work is so important to regulate and to keep us centered and calm, which obviously has to do with what we're talking about today and life in the fast lane. But it also, that part of the card that said, it's harder when we are not still. Like, the way to get into our bliss and that purpose and all of that is we have to get still and listen. And how many of us really take the time to remember that? Especially right now, we're being bombarded with so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, even, and Robyn, I know we're going to get into this, but hereafter in a moment, but even just making time to get on the phone to talk to my girlfriends when I'm in the midst of all go. Like, making the time to do the things that really bring me joy and that I care about seems harder now.
Yeah, it does. It feels like a practice.
Yeah.
Like I literally, my voicemail box was full, and I took off messages, like birthday messages, which are from 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. And like, I haven't called these people back, and these are my closest friends.
Right.
I'm like, what is that about? I always used to at least be able to text or, Do you feel the same, Jerry?
I absolutely do. And I've been thinking a lot about that this, there were so many beautiful comments and messages, especially on Facebook. And I usually would post like a thank you to everyone and a little feeling of how it made me feel and how special I feel. And I haven't even been able to do that. And I thought, okay,
Right.
I should be doing that by now, because this is like the week after, right? Is it, or is it longer? I don't even know.
It feels longer.
The time just slips right by. And what I realized, what really puts me into a different perspective right now, I have a very special person in my life that I haven't seen for a while, that I'm going to see this Saturday, who was my business partner for years and years, and a very close person that I worked with since I was 16 years old, somebody I've known forever. And he's in hospice now. And so when life and death appear, or there's a nearness to that, it kind of jolts me back into, well, how about these people I love? I haven't called, I haven't spoken to, and I've missed so many people that have left before I could see them. And that always kind of hurts my heart. I feel like,
Yeah.
I know I have no control over it, but I know my intentions are good. And then it hurts my heart when I can't connect, when somebody's leaving this earth plane, So, so right now that's kind of sticking with me and making me, putting me into a different perspective about why am I not reaching out more? And why am I living my life in this fast lane, which isn't allowing me to have that spaciousness, which
Right.
is important.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that more when we come back. Let's take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about life in the fast lane. And I'm sure there'll be lots of great tips, especially like you said, Savannah, just taking that 6 minutes. 6 minutes sounds so little
I know.
when you, and we don't, I don't know, somehow it doesn't compute when you need it because you think you need more time. But it's really true if you can recalibrate your brain to get into little practices maybe. But we'll see what comes up. So don't go away, get something to drink, and come back here and join us on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity, Kitchener. Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa. Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center. Begin Within Ministries. Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. Unity of Savannah. And the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Welcome to Science of Mind Archives, your gateway to spiritual wisdom. Join us for our grand opening gala. Experience a weekend of inspiration. Enjoy a ribbon-cutting ceremony, a gala dinner and workshops, plus a labyrinth walk and town hall. Connect with a community of seekers. Explore spiritual teachings and resources. Find your path to personal growth. Join us from April 24th to 27th. Lodging options are still available. Visit our website www.scienceofmindarchives.com for more details. Please RSVP by March 15th. Featuring Reverend Jesse Jennings, musical inspirations with Karen Drucker and the spirit of Ernest Holmes. Come celebrate our new home at Unity Village, Lee's Summit, Missouri, and please visit www.scienceofmindarchives.com.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls.
It's more than practical.
Here come the girls.
Way more than merely factual. If you wanna know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, welcome back to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. That was a tough one to get out. Metaphysically. I want to thank Ray Davis, or our friend Ray Davis, who wrote that theme song and is singing on it. It's a fabulous, fabulous song. It makes me smile every time. I am here with other people who make me smile all the time. Reverend Savannah and Reverend Jerry are joining us today as we talk about life in the fast lane. So if you're out there, let us know where you're joining us from, and feel free to join in the conversation. If you have something to say, and please like us and do all that good stuff on social media. And I think that's all I have to say about that. So, life in the fast lane. Huh. Just the very thought of it. I think, well, we started it in the last segment. What do you really, I mean, what I know people say that time is speeding up, but what do you really equate that with? I mean, like, because I don't do that many different things in my life from when I felt like I had more time, but now I don't have time to do them the same way.
I can go. Well, maybe it's not just about time, but it's about attention. I think that something about the technological connection that we have, that we didn't always have, has shifted the way we engage and connect and receive information. And I feel like I am so inundated by it and distracted by it that now I have to literally plan time to be still. I have to plan time to be creative. I have to plan time to get therapy and all of the things so that I have the bandwidth and the capacity to juggle all the other things in my life. And if any one of those things isn't there, I can see where it starts to derail. Like, I mean, Robyn, I think what people don't know is the reason we came up with this topic is because like 2 days ago when you called me, even just in your text to me, you knew I was stressed. I don't know how you knew. You can share, but you knew I was stressed and you're like, it's okay. You don't need to be so stressed out. And I was just like, I am moving. And I knew that whatever I was trying to finish, I knew that if I took your call or did something else, it would take me away from the creative space I was in. And I feel like I'm now fighting for my attention. I'm fighting for my attention to be on the things I really care about because you guys know for the last few years, it's been on how can I make a living? It's been on survival and stress. And it's like, well, how do you juggle both that of what's coming at us constantly in the news and constantly in the world on top of, oh, but I want to focus here because this is meaningful work. This is joy-filled work. And so to me, it's not just about time. It's where is my focus in that time? You know, where's my attention?
Yeah. Well said. And it brings up Jerry for me because Jerry, I think you do this. Well, it appears that you do this really well.
Tell me about me, Robyn. You can.
Well, no, it does. It appears, I mean, you run a business and you we're part of a church and you have other things that you do. I mean, and it seems seamless. I know it's not always seamless. I mean, after all, you do it with chocolate. I mean, if you all don't know Jerry, if you've never experienced Jerry, she usually comes bearing chocolate, a basket of chocolate goodies to keep everyone, smiling. But I mean, you seem like you feel like it's balanced.
Let me tell you about that.
Yeah, please do.
I have a theory on this.
Okay.
My saying these days is there are a lot of moving parts in my life. And I think we all feel that way. There are a lot of moving parts. And what I'm realizing is that I do need to take time for myself. And that's not always easy to do because I'll speak from the when I am doing things out of pure joy because they're things I really love doing, it makes it feel seamless and it doesn't make it feel like there's so many moving parts. But the reality is that there are a lot of moving parts. And sometimes I just have to step back and say, how did I do that? Well, how did I do all that? And I realize that because I'm doing it from a place of joy, that it doesn't feel burdensome I mean, there are times when it does, don't get me wrong, but it's interesting. It's an interesting observation of myself, but I seem to, I'm just approaching retiring. I mean, I'm signing papers today to sell my final business. And, and when I say retire, I'm going to say refire because I am not a do nothing type of person, right? I'm going to, my goal and my plan has been to focus on my ministry and how that's going to unfold moving forward. My ministry. And I've loved being in ministry and I've loved growing in ministry. And so I'm kind of excited for what's next. And I don't know what that is, but I know that it's something great and grand. And I'm trusting it'll be glorious. But first I have to clear the slate a little bit. And so that's, doing the doingness of moving beyond this business and into my next chapter.
Well, and I think Savannah brought up a great point as well, that I think so much of the new angst or whatever it is that we feel has to do with technology as well. Like, as you do know, I didn't have my phone today. I left it at Costco last night. And my 16-year-old godson's like amazed, like, well, how do you function? Like, because I was like, oh, well, it's at Costco, I'll get it later.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, felt almost like, it's a day of vacation. Unfortunately, I mean, I knew I needed to let you two know just in case of anything, but I was like, it's interesting to function without a phone for a day, or interesting not to look at my emails all day, and all those things, because every time I do, I get pulled into something else.
Yeah, that definitely, I believe, up levels our busyness, the technology world, and we do need a separation from it from time to time, whether it means leaving your phone for a day. I know I have felt a sigh of relief when I've left my phone at home and I'm almost to work, and it's like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes. Nothing happens terrible, or
Yeah.
the world doesn't fall apart. I think it's a good idea to practice setting technology aside, and I know there are days for that, because
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was gonna add that it also, for me, has become tough because of how I run my business through social media and want to be informed, but also don't want to be inundated by all the fear and all of that. And I liken it to years ago when I lived abroad and I didn't have access to the internet, or, when dial-up was a thing. You guys remember dial-up internet in different countries where I would get a flip phone and we'd have to pay for text messages. And I just remember, what was that like? Well, everything slowed way down. The way that I would use my time was differently, right? Like I would use a whole portion of my morning just to go to the market to get food or something. And it would be spent actually looking at nature and looking at the people around me instead of a phone. And I think about that and am like, man, I wish that some of that was still here. Like you said before, Robyn, I think it's just a practice now. We have to make time for it. Just like you do in business, I make time for my clients. I make time. I don't schedule meetings before a certain time, or, I have to make sure to get this in. I have to meditate. I have to do these things in order for me to have the bandwidth to keep going, But I think about those times and go, gosh, that was what, 10 years ago, at least.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
And it just keeps speeding up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, you said schedule, and I think, the sound of schedule to me sometimes can be kind of like off-putting. Like, I'm not going to schedule my life, but by the same token, like when we all used to get together and watch The Bachelor, that was scheduled. It doesn't have to be bad. That's the story I make up about it. It was scheduled, and that was a time when it didn't have a whole lot to do with The Bachelor. It had to do with, we all took a minute to breathe and have fun and connect and be together. And, so it's like we need a new word or something to like recalibrate our brain into making that adjustment. You know what I mean? Because I say that to Gil all the time, to my husband. I'm like, we've got to schedule this and we've got to schedule that. And I know he's like off put by that word. I know he is. And so we rarely do it because he's like, "Arr." But it's like there's so much going on that if I don't schedule on some level, I won't see him. I mean, or I'll see him go by. I mean, but I won't have quality time. And that's what we're talking about, kind of, is like, when we're living life in this fast lane, how do we find our quality time? How do we find our space that like Jerry said, re-energize and focus on ourselves?
It's interesting because I, as I've relocated, and what I'm finding myself doing is getting up very early in the morning, because there's something about that quiet time of the morning where there's only me. It's very still, and inevitably I catch a glimpse of the sunrise, beautiful sunrises, and I've been so in. have a picture of every sunrise of every day since I've been living where I am. And it just brings me such joy and peace and comfort. And so it's that stillness of the morning that really kind of sets the tone for me to be able to live in this fast lane, because it is a fast lane. And I don't know what we want to contribute it to. Is the world, is the earth spinning faster? Is it technology? Is it just me, planning and scheduling and all of that? But if I don't have that peaceful, quiet time, different than meditation, but very similar, I really am thriving on that these days. And I'm blessed to be able to have that, to even appreciate that beauty. So,
Yeah, and I hear you, and I think the first step is to notice, to be aware and awake to seeing the sunset.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, not just brushing through it, and like really, I mean, taking that moment to go, oh, this makes me feel, really be with your feeling. Because I think sometimes we rush through that as well, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Or how
Well,
about where you are in Albuquerque, looking at those balloons during the balloon season? I mean,
Yeah.
that's spectacular to see things of such beauty. I know we all have them in our life experience.
yeah, I attribute some of it to maybe the post-traumatic stress from COVID. I mean, think about what you just said when we used to schedule time together as girlfriends during what those 2 or 3 years where everything slowed down, right? And
Right.
then we started to slowly come out of it. It's almost like we had to retrain ourselves how to engage with the world, engage with people, engage in community. And also the technology aspect of it was just so huge, right? And so I feel like it's almost like training wheels again, like trying to figure out how do I re-engage with the world at this level with this new information. I mean, I had one of our girlfriends reach out to me yesterday, and she was like, Savannah, why don't we talk anymore? Like, I miss you. Like, what? And I just thought, oh my gosh, like, well, yeah, it's not personal. Like you said, I don't know if people know this, but you guys have the same birthday. So um, catching up on those messages, like I remember the days when I used to just call all my friends in my contact list to stay connected, where we just picked up the phone and called, right? And I think, well, what is that about? Why is that? Why is that not as essential when it really is? But Robyn, like, and Jerry, same. Like, Jerry, you reached out to me the other day, and I was like, why did it take me so long to get back? And to be like, let's set up a call. It's our attention is like,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, our attention is pulled all different ways.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And I mean, I think it's interesting too that you bring up the pandemic, because yeah, you know, I don't know how to phrase this, but it's like, I don't know that we're ever gonna like fully recover from the pandemic. I mean, in the way that, I mean, certainly things are never going to go backwards to where they were. There's a new normal. I mean, but even things like getting dressed for business calls, you know, I mean, we all want to have pajama bottoms on the bottom, you know, you know. I mean, but really, but things like that, where it's like, even when I look at people out walking around and shopping, everybody's got their flannel, not a good majority of people have their flannel bottoms on. It's like, it's very casual. It's very, people don't want to, we don't have the same protocol as we did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, although technology was speeded up, we were moving slower during that time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even to have a gathering on Zoom, I don't know how many wine tasting opportunities I had on Zoom to do virtual wine tasting from Italy. I mean, there was a way to connect, but it didn't seem to be as furious, like when and fast.
Mhm.
There was something about that. I don't know.
But also,
Go ahead.
well, think about the pendulum has swung from one side to the other.
Yeah.
But the other piece that we're not talking about is just being inundated by the news and by the government and by the crazy that's happening. It's constant stress, right? It's fast, and it's all happening so fast that our nervous systems cannot keep up with it. So, which is another reason why, for me personally, I'm like, I have to take time to be still.
You have to make the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge portion of it as well, is there's an uncertainty and an unknown space that a lot of us have never lived in to this capacity.
Yeah. I woke
Well,
up this.
you,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I woke up this morning in a very unique, like meditative space where I allowed some visions to come in that I haven't thought about for a long, long time. So I gave myself permission to do that, and it was quite wonderful to start thinking about some things that I haven't thought about that are part of my continuation and ministry and growth. And so what I realized was I wasn't opening myself up to that flow because I've been busy or because one thing or the other, so.
Well, I can relate to that because I think that, I was thinking about like, what are my passions? What am I doing? What do I want to do? And then it's like, I was realizing, by trade, I am a creative person, an actor, a writer, whatever. I was like, when was the last time you acted, Robyn? I was like, oh, and then I started thinking about like what energy I put where and what I put into what, because sometimes when people ask me that, what I do, I feel like I'm lying because I haven't been doing that, and like really, but like, but just like you're saying, Jerry, what's been coming is like the next steps and what I need to do and what time it is that way. And I think, but like you said, Savannah, with the news and the media and everything that's going on, it's like, it's constantly like a waking up going, okay, wait, does TikTok exist or is it done now? Oh, it's done. Is what's happening with Twitter? Oh, it's not Twitter, it's X. And no, we don't know more X because we don't want to support this. Like being told all the time, like, okay, boycott this, do that, and everything feels urgent. Everything feels, and even if it's not urgent, it's urgent for me to figure out where I stand, and to just be able to be and go, okay, wait, this is what's the truth for me and what's happening. But there's constantly new information.
And maybe it is a call to take some inventory. Inventory, not just about what's true for me and what I value and what I care about, but I did this practice recently because my mom actually brought it up to me because I was thinking about how I finally feel like I'm coming up out of the water of just feeling like I've been drowning for the last few years of just surviving, and I want to be thriving. And she just said, why don't you just get out a piece of paper and do some mind mapping and write down all of the things you care about and all of the things you've done in the last 20 something years. Just take some inventory, back to what that card said, right? Following your bliss. Take some inventory on everything that you've accomplished, all that you've done, all the things you've provided to other people. And so I did this process, which actually kind of like you, Jerry, in you having these visions of things you hadn't thought of before. Now I'm sitting there completely disconnected from the world of effect and all of the news and the urgency. And I'm so in my zone of like light of like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so cool that I had no time to get down on myself and be mad or be upset that I thought I've done. You've wasted 2 years of your life, Savannah. That was the tape, right? And then I looked at it and was like, holy crap, this is so good. This is good stuff. And then what came out of that, I took inventory, was I just made a list of like, these are the things I need to do. I put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave me like a whole 6-month thing of what I should do in the next.
Oh gosh,
in
that's
the
a
next,
great idea.
It's a great idea, but what it did was it sparked that joy again, and that light of like, this is your power, this is your purpose, this is your passion, not all this urgent, oh my God, survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the space many of us, we want to get into that. We want to be back into that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it sounds like we have come to this moment like fully ready and prepared, and now it's time for like coming home, so to speak. Like coming back to ourselves. I mean, I can say that for both of you women, and for myself as well. The amount of content and work that we have done in the world, is so much that we could use any portion of it to, to support others, to monetize, to live into our bliss, whatever it is. I mean, because we all, both Jerry and Savannah and myself, are very creative and very, excellent teachers and all of those things. And so what I'm hearing you say is, on some level, there's a portion of what, even no matter what our judgment is about it, there's a portion of our lives and work that have led to this moment. And now the gem and the jewel is to sit down and uncover that and really appropriate it, or whatever, I don't know, rebuild it, rechisel it. I can't think of the word I want.
That's good.
Reinvent, recognize something,
Renew.
review,
Renew.
something, renew. Yeah, renew.
And give it. I mean, it's the inner and the outer. It's like I have a renewed passion and sense for the direction I want to go in, and it's a both and. So it's about the inner work that I'm doing always, but it's also about the community engagement as well, of social transformation. Because I'm reading this book right now, actually, which I think you guys will love. Reverend Dorica has been talking about it at East Bay Church of Religious Science forever, and it's What It Takes to Heal by Prentice Hemphill, how transforming ourselves can change the world. And it's all about the inner work we do to heal ourselves, which is what you just said, Robyn. But then at the same time, using that as a bridge for social transformation, of working within community, which is what all of us, all three of us anyway, are wanting to do, right? And so for me, this is bringing me life, because I'm like, this is what it's about. So on some level, it requires that we turn our attention away from all of that stuff, like back to the practice of what it is that we ultimately have talked about forever.
Yeah. Was that a message, a gong that we are going to break or something, or can I say something?
You can say something.
What I want to say is, and right, you're so right about that, Reverend Savannah. And what I'm realizing is what has really been a joy-filled experience is releasing, being away from all the craziness, and stepping into a group of women, which I've been very honored to be a part of at Oakland Center for quite a few years, since 2017. And what happens is, this is just such an amazing experience of allowing time for ourselves to process what it is we need to process. It could be any venue, and the things that I feel that I bring to this group are well thought out, but it's not heavy work. It's just being present and open to allowing the discussion to occur in a safe and sound environment. And it's been really, really something that's really been a great gift for me to participate in. So I see that growing and going somewhere, even grander than it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
And I
this.
guess,
It's like what we're doing here. It's really been a nice opportunity to connect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think, as our time is almost up, and as we go out, I mean, I would just like to leave people with kind of some tools, a step, maybe something to focus on, because the first thing that comes up for me in listening to this, and this is just my own lens, um, is letting go of how I thought it should be, and forgiving myself that I think I should have done this 20 years ago, or it should look like this, or why didn't I do this? And if I'd only done that, and I think, as you spoke to earlier, the first key is the awareness, the being able to see the sunset and to recognize all the work that you've put in throughout the years, and to really go back and look at what is your bliss, what is your bliss, what is your passion, and how have you followed it throughout the years, and be able to then make it a priority in some way.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And
So
take some inventory about what it is that you really care about. What inspires you the most? I think we just get so bogged down by urgency and all that we have to do that oftentimes we lose sight of our dreams. We lose sight of our vision, of our purpose, of our mission, of like, what is it that I want to contribute and be of service, I know I do and have.
Yeah.
well, and go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, the other thing along with that is, if we haven't monetized it, we then don't think it's valuable.
Yeah.
Which is a big deterrent. Okay, go ahead.
I was just thinking, when you said the word monetized, some of the biggest gifts I've received have not been, have been just volunteering and doing something that I believe in, that is supportive of not only myself, but of others. So the other thing I wanted to say is, there's a lot of wisdom here on the screen. And I'm sure there's a lot of wisdom within each and every person that's listening or participating in some way. And we have to check in with ourselves, because things do change. Our priorities do change. Our gifts grow and expand in a way that, things shift and change, and being open to that as well, allowing
Right.
ourselves to be where we are right now.
Yeah. Good point.
Mhm.
Good point.
We've all gone through a lot, so we have
We have.
Mhm.
We've all gone through a lot, and we've all gone through a lot. Just the past 10 years has been a lot, different aspects.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and one other thing, Reverend David Alexander mentioned to me recently, he's been doing a lot of writing on Substack, which is really an amazing platform. And he said, I'm just giving away my stuff for free. Like, yes, he has mentioned, like, he has the privilege of having a full-time senior minister position job, but at the same time, he's like, people need access. And I feel like even in my own evolution, although I love to monetize my work, in my own evolution of being of service, I want people to have it. And so I'm doing more of that as well, of like just giving myself, just offering it for free, which is a whole consciousness mindset shift too.
Yeah.
Mhm. Powerful. It's powerful, actually.
It is powerful.
Because there are gifts in that we don't even, consider in the moment.
Yeah.
You can rest assured there are gifts in it, the givingness. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there are no words to describe how happy I am to be with my besties here and have had you join us today.
A
And
great surprise. Thanks, Robyn. She
Thank
scared
you.
me
Yeah.
at the show, Jerry. She didn't, she was like, I have a surprise. And I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah. She didn't tell me anything about a surprise until I got on, but she invited me, and I thought, okay, yeah, I'd love to
Oh,
do
man.
that. And now
I
it
gave
was
them a little surprise party. They didn't know each other was coming,
Yeah.
and we don't get to see each other in a group that often. So this was This was a real treat.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And if you're, both of them are very gifted counselors and do a lot of different work. If you want to reach out, I should have had your email come up on the screen or any of that, but I don't. So if you want to reach out, you can reach out to me and I will put you in touch with them. They do amazing work. And are welcome to come back anytime and we'll talk about whatever it is you're doing at whatever time that is. But in the meantime, I want to leave you all with this thought as we follow our card towards bliss. Jerry, you just said like the gift is in the givingness. Is that what you said? The gift is in the givingness. And I think that's, if we can hold on to that, whether it's monetized or not monetized, it doesn't matter. The gift is in the givingness, and each of us hold, that the ability to change each other's lives, our life, the world. So carry that out into the world, go forth, and cheers.
I don't have mine, but cheers, Robyn.
Cheers.
And we'll see. Cheers. We'll see you next week right here on Girls Behaving Metaphysically. If you're moved to donate, please donate to New Thought Media Works Network so we can keep doing this work. And again, on Friday nights, we have Fireside Chat with our producer, Michael Mangus, as well as Rockin' the Love on Wednesdays with me and my husband. And that's a joy. That's a treat if you want a glimpse into married life. So join us. And there's tons of other great shows and prayer programs and music and all good things on New Thought Media Network. And we love to see you here anytime. So we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.